My name is Amina. I lived a quiet life in a bustling city, wrapped in the familiar folds of my faith and traditions. The burqa was more than just a garment, it was my shield, my identity, my connection to the community and God. I prayed 5 times a day, fasted during Ramadan, and raised my children with love and devotion. Life was not easy, but it was steady. Then, one terrible day, everything changed. I was walking through the crowded marketplace when the explosion shattered the aira, sudden, violent eruption that tore through bodies and screams. I remember the flash, the deafening roar, the chaos. Darkness swallowed me. I thought my world had ended, but it didn't. When I opened my eyes, I was not in pain or fear. Instead, I found myself cradled in an unimaginable light, warm, pure, and gentle. The air was filled with a peace I had never known, and holding me in that radiant embrace was a woman dressed in white, with a face so full of compassion and love it broke my heart. It was the Virgin Mary. I had heard of Mary before, called Maryam in my faith, revered as a righteous woman, but to see her like this, holding me as a mother holds a child, was beyond any prayer or story. She looked at me with eyes that saw every hurt, every fear, every hope. Her presence spoke of mercy deeper than oceans and a love wider than the sky. I was terrified and comforted all at once. I wanted to ask questions. Why me? Why her? What would happen next? But words escaped me. Instead, I felt her whisper in my heart, a language without sound but full of meaning. You are loved. You are safe. Rest now. I closed my eyes and let the light carry me, feeling a peace so profound it made all the suffering I'd known seem distant and small. But the journey was only beginning. When I opened my eyes again, I was no longer in that peaceful embrace. Instead, I found myself surrounded by shadows, faces contorted with pain, flames licking the edges of my vision, and the echoing cries of those left behind. It was a place between worlds, neither fully alive nor gone. I was suspended in a space where time lost meaning. Virgin Mary appeared beside me once more. Her presence was a beacon in the darkness. She didn't speak aloud, but her eyes told me everything. There is hope beyond this moment, even when the world seems lost. She showed me visions not of my past, but of the pain and suffering endured by so many around me. Families torn apart by war, children crying for safety, strangers risking everything to save others. I felt the weight of these sorrows, but also the resilience and courage of those who refused to give in to despair. Then Mary's gentle hand rested on my heart, and a warmth spread through me, healing wounds I hadn't realized I carried, not just physical, but spiritual. I understood that suffering was part of the human journey, but it was not the end. As the light enveloped me again, I sensed that I had been given a choice to remain in this place of peace, or to return to the world of pain and fight for hope. I looked at Mary, tears streaming down my face, and silently asked, "What must I do?" Her smile was tender yet resolute. Live, love, be light. With that, I felt myself pulled back toward life, the sounds of the marketplace growing louder, the scent of smoke and earth filling my lungs. I awoke, gasping for air, surrounded by people rushing to help. My body was broken, but my spirit was changed forever. The Virgin Mary had cradled me in light, and now I was sent back to carry that light into the darkness. Waking up in the hospital was like surfacing from a deep ocean. The pain in my body was sharp and real, but beneath it all was a profound sense of peace that refused to leave me. The doctors said I was lucky to be alive, but I knew something deeper had saved me. As I lay there, wrapped in bandages and surrounded by machines, my mind kept returning to the light, to Mary's gentle face, to her words without words. I realized that I had been given a mission not just to survive, but to live differently. I began to ask questions. What did this light mean for me as a Muslim woman? How could I reconcile this experience with the faith I had always known? The more I prayed and reflected, the more I felt a bridge forming between my past and this new hope. Mary, revered in Islam as Maryam, had shown me mercy and love beyond religion or borders. I started quietly sharing my story with family and friends, but many found it hard to believe. Some were skeptical, others worried I was losing my way, but I couldn't deny what I had experienced. I felt called to be a living testament to compassion, to forgiveness, and to peace. The light Mary wrapped me in wasn't just for mate, was a gift meant to be shared. It gave me strength to forgive those who had caused pain, to comfort those grieving, and to be a beacon of hope in a world too often torn apart by hatred and fear. Every day since, I carry that vision with me, the image of the Virgin Mary cradling me in light, reminding me that love is the most powerful force on earth, and that even in the darkest moments, we are never alone. This is my story, and it is only the beginning. Life after the bombing was a new chapter, unlike anything I had ever imagined. I was changed, though my body bore scars. It was my spirit that had been truly transformed. I struggled to find words to describe the light, the peace, and the overwhelming love I experienced cradled in Mary's arms. How could I explain this to those who hadn't seen or felt it? I returned home to a community marked by pain and fear, but also hope. I saw families grieving losses, children afraid to play outside, and neighbors torn between anger and despair. I realized that my experience was not just personal, it was a message, a call to be a source of light amidst the darkness. I began volunteering in ways I never had before, offering kindness to those struggling, listening to stories of loss, and sharing what little peace I could offer. My faith grew not just in the rituals I was raised with, but in a new understanding of mercy and grace. Mary's embrace had shown me a love that crossed religious boundaries, a love that unites all humanity. Many nights, I prayed to Mary Mariamis, the compassionate mother who showed me the way to healing. I also prayed to Allah, seeking strength to live out the message I was given. My faiths coexist now, woven together by the experience that transformed me. Some ask if I fear death now. The answer is no, because I have seen the light that awaits, the gentle arms that will cradle me when my time comes. I live with courage and hope, knowing that love is the true refuge. My story is not just about survival, it's about the power of compassion, the mystery of divine mercy, and the light that shines even in the darkest night. And I will carry this light, this love, for as long as I live. As days turned to weeks, my heart grew heavier with the weight of the world's pain. But at the same time, the vision of Mary's gentle embrace stayed with me, a constant source of comfort and strength. I realized that what I had experienced was more than a moment of peace. It was a calling to live as a messenger of mercy and hope. I started to share my story with others, at first quietly, with close friends and family. Their reactions varied. Some were skeptical, others afraid, but many were touched. They saw the change in me, a new kindness, a deeper patience, a love that transcended past grievances. In my prayers, I asked for guidance. How could I bring the light I received into a world still shadowed by conflict? How could I live out the mercy I had felt cradled in Mary's arms? The answer came in small moments: helping a neighbor, forgiving a long-held grudge, comforting a grieving mother. Each act of love was a reflection of that radiant light, a reminder that even in brokenness, grace can shine. I also began learning more about Maryam in Islam, understanding her revered role as a symbol of purity and compassion. My faith felt enriched by this connection, a bridge between traditions that once seemed separate. The journey is not easy. I still carry scars, both visible and hidden, but the vision of Mary cradling me remains a beacon, an eternal reminder that I am loved, protected, and called to be a vessel of peace. To anyone who feels lost or overwhelmed, I say, there is light beyond the darkness, mercy beyond the pain, and love that holds you close, no matter where you come from or what you have endured. My story is proof of that promise, and I am grateful to share it. After my recovery, I found myself walking through a world forever changed, not just by the scars on my body, but by the light within my soul. The burden of what I had seen and felt pressed on me daily. The peace I encountered cradled in the Virgin Mary's arms was unlike anything I had ever known, and it compelled me to live differently. I struggled with questions that stirred deep inside. How does a Muslim woman embrace a vision centered on Mary, a figure so beloved in Christianity? Could this experience be a bridge rather than a divide? How can I reconcile my faith with this encounter that transcended words? In quiet moments of prayer and reflection, I realized that Maryam in Islam is a unifying symbol of purity, compassion, and mercy. Her love knows no boundaries of religion or culture. She had appeared to me in my darkest hour, not to convert or condemn, but to cradle and comfort. This understanding transformed my perception of faith itself. I began to see that true spirituality is not confined to rituals or dogma, but flourishes in love, mercy, and connection with the divine. The vision gifted me courage to forgive and hope to rebuild not just my life, but the lives of those around me affected by violence and loss. I felt called to be a messenger of peace and ambassador of the light that had held me in its embrace. Though the path ahead is uncertain, I walk it with newfound faith, faith not defined by division, but by the shared humanity and divine love revealed to me in that radiant light. I am still learning, still healing, but one thing remains clear. No matter your faith, no matter your pain, love is waiting to cradle you, just as it cradled me. The transformation I experienced didn't just affect my spirit, it reshaped my relationships, my purpose, and my very way of living. I became more patient, more forgiving, more willing to reach out across divides that had once seemed insurmountable. The light Mary wrapped me in became a wellspring of compassion, enabling me to comfort others who had lost so much. I found myself involved in community healing efforts, listening to stories of trauma, helping children who'd lost their parents, and offering quiet prayers for peace. These acts of service weren't just charity. They were a reflection of the love that had held me in the afterlife. Sometimes I'd sit quietly in prayer, holding a small picture of Mary, contemplating the depth of her mercy. I felt a profound kinship not just as a Muslim woman, but as a soul who had glimpsed the boundless grace that unites us all. Doubt and fear still visit me on hard days. The world is still torn by violence and hate. But the memory of that light, that embrace, carries me through. It reminds me that even in the darkest hour, love is stronger. If my story reaches even one person who is broken, lost, or afraid, I pray they will find the same light I found the light cradled in Mary's arms. Because that light is real. That love is real. And it is waiting for every soul willing to receive it. Reflecting on my journey, I realized that what I experienced was more than a near-death encounter. It was a profound awakening to a love that transcends all boundaries. The Virgin Mary, whom I revered as Maryam in my faith, became a living symbol of mercy and hope, cradling me in light when I was most vulnerable. I have come to understand that faith is not about walls that separate us, but bridges that connect us. This experience has deepened my spirituality and broadened my compassion for all people, regardless of their beliefs. Though I still wear my burqa and honor my Muslim traditions, my heart carries the light of that divine embrace. It guides me toward peace, forgiveness, and service. To anyone listening, regardless of your path, know this: there is a love that holds you, a light that never fades. When we open ourselves to that love, we find healing, hope, and the courage to face whatever comes. My story is a testament to the power of mercy that cradles us all, in every moment, in every place. And so, I walk forward, wrapped not only in cloth but in grace, forever changed by the light that held me when I died and gave me life again.